got you covered. This is 19 News at 6.
A popular film festival comes to the newly renovated Rivoli Theater. And the city of La Crescent is being recognized for its appreciation of trees. And new tonight, a rally on the campus of UWL hoping to spread a message of equality and peace. Thanks for joining us. I'm Heather Armstrong. In less than a week, voters will go to the polls for yet another election. Chandler Brindley spoke with La Crosse City Clerk Nikki Elson to tell us all we need to know about the upcoming election.
Well, it feels just like we got done going to the polling place to cast your votes to choose who we want to represent us and lead our country. That's because it's only been 141 days since the November election. Coulee Region voters will be out and about again next Tuesday for the April election. In La Crosse, depending on where you live, there will be a combination of options when you get your ballot. All La Crosse residents will have the mayoral race on the ballot. There are a number of city council races that will appear on ballots throughout the La Crosse area as well. District 7, District 9, District 11, District 12, and District 13 are contested seats, while a few city council seats for La Crosse are running uncontested. There will also be 6 candidates vying for 3 seats on the La Crosse School Board. In addition to local races, voters will have the state Supreme Court seat to vote on, as well as a state superintendent position.
We have issued over 4,500 absentee ballots as of today. Many of the mailed ballots are not back in yet, but of that 4,500, 1,100 of them are from individuals who voted an in-person absentee. So we're on track, and we're kind of expecting a turnout similar to April of 2023.
Elson says to make sure you know where your polling place is, where you vote is specific to where you live. She says the best way to find out where to vote on April 1st is by visiting the myvotewi.gov website. It's also important to note that City Hall is not a polling place on voting day, and that electioneering or wearing candidate clothing or holding signs is prohibited within 100 feet of a polling place.
All right, good information. Thank you, Chandler. Also, remember to bring a valid photo ID with you as well as a proof of residence, and we'll have all this information, just in case you need to read it again, on our website. Well, some UW La Crosse students and campus organizations got together to hold a rally in front of the clock tower earlier this afternoon. The Women for Women March, put together as a rally for equality and human rights. It was the vision of both the College Democrats and UWL College Feminists. The event is also aimed to unite people. According to one organizer, the rally stands for fairness, compassion, and equality.
I think just having people that are willing to support you, I would say. I know my family's willing to support me, my friends are willing to support me, my fellow colleagues and students are willing to support me, and I think that gives me a lot of hope.
Organizers also worked closely with campus officials to ensure that it was a safe event. The La Crosse County Sheriff's Office putting out a missing child notice for 14-year-old Nebrea Leggins. She was missing since March 14th. The Sheriff's Office says she could be in the La Crosse or Onalaska area. Her hair was dyed blue and black at the time that she was last seen. She could go by the name Bria. They also ask that you don't approach her, just contact law enforcement right away. A new police chief has been named for the Tomah Police Department. As we reported, current chief Scott Holm announced his retirement earlier this week after 26 years of service. And today, the Tomah Police Department said it had appointed Police Chief Eric Peterson to that role. Peterson is a Tomah native. He graduated from Tomah High School in 1995. And after an 8-year career as a military police officer in the Army, he joined the police department in 2005. He takes command of the department on April 19th. Well, sunshine and dry conditions for the next few days. Then weekend rain. Here's meteorologist Jackson Garlick with our first forecast.
Another fairly comfortable day here across the La Crosse area. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Jackson Garlock. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, which is about average for this time of year. We have even warmer temperatures over the next couple of days. Up towards the Eau Claire area, seeing temperatures also in the mid to upper 50s. So as we mentioned, comfortable. As we get closer into central Wisconsin, we moved more towards the 40s. Now we take a look here at what we're expecting late tonight. We are tracking a small system of showers which could move into the area late this evening, overnight tonight, and early tomorrow morning. That's going to start here down to the southwest and eventually move across the area heading into early Thursday. Most of tomorrow, though, is looking dry. Day planner tonight drops us from the 70s down into the 40s, maybe even some upper 30s. We should get a nice kickstart to the morning, though, with some sunshine and eventually land in the 60s and 70s across the state.
Well, just a little while ago, President Trump signed an executive order to impose new tariffs on auto imports. The White House says it'll foster domestic manufacturing that could also squeeze automakers who depend on global supply chains. Shares in General Motors and Stellantis, the owner of Jeep and Chrysler, they fell during trade this afternoon, but Ford stock was up slightly. A significant decision today from the nation's highest court. Supreme Court justices ruling 7-2, upholding federal regulations that treat gun part kits the same as fully assembled firearms, requiring manufacturers to serialize the kits and subject buyers to age limits and background checks. The self-assembled kits produce untraceable weapons known as ghost guns. It's a regulation issued by the ATF during the Biden administration. Gun violence prevention groups celebrating the court's ruling as a huge win, but gun manufacturers and some owners had challenged the law, saying it was an overreach. The Prairie Springs Phase 2 Science Center at UW-La Crosse failed to secure funding for a fourth time. The State Building Commission met earlier this week to consider dozens of projects in the current capital budget. However, the commission forwarded that budget to the Joint Finance Committee with no recommendation. All 4 Republicans on the commission voting against that recommendation.
I think that's unfortunate. We have a job to do, and we're part of the process. And so I would prefer that we could look at the projects as a commission and decide what has merit and then send it forward.
Originally, the Science Center was one big project expected to be done in 2 phases. The remaining old science building, Cowley Hall, built in 1965, it's currently the most expensive to maintain. It has outdated firefighting systems, and it also leaks when it's rain. Well, our spring election preview continues in Trempealeau County, where 3 school districts have non-recurring operational referendums on the April 1st ballot. Crystal Flintrop has a look at what to expect on Tuesday.
Wisconsinites will vote on over 80 school referenda on April 1st. 3 are in Trempealeau County, including one in Whitehall, where residents will vote on a $1.25 million non-recurring referendum over 2 years, beginning with the 2025-26 school year.
Literally, it's everything. For us, it's operations. From staff to transportation to co-curriculars, extracurriculars to maintenance of the building. So literally it is everything that we do, as opposed to a bond referendum or a debt issue referendum to build a new facility. That's not what we're talking about.
Now, this is nothing new for the Whitehall School District. Bigley says this is just renewing the referendum that is set to expire this year.
The net cost right now is about 31 cents a thousand, or a $200,000 house would be $62 annually compared to this year. I think the bigger issue is what happens if it doesn't. We would be required, if this doesn't pass, to cut about $1.2 million.
In the Independence School District, a similar situation where it's not new money, but the current referendum is expiring. Independence is asking its voters for $900,000 for each school year starting this year over the next 3 years, which will be used to maintain educational programming, compensate staff competitively, and maintain facilities. Also asking its community to approve an operational referendum is the Arcadia School District. If passed, this would be a first.
Our operating budget was being drained. We are borrowing every year, which we're borrowing anywhere from $1 million to $2 million a year.
So Arcadia is asking their community to help get their general fund balance back to 10% or higher by exceeding the revenue limit this year through the 2028-29 school year in a $3.75 million referendum. For every $100,000 of value, it would cost homeowners about $179 more a year. FERC says this would also allocate funding to support special education programming in the district. Reporting in Trempealeau County, I'm Crystal Flintrop.
Thanks, Crystal. Again, the spring election is April 1st. Well, La Crescent has officially been named a 2024 Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation. The city earned its title back in 2017, and it's maintained it ever since. It's awarded for cities that use trees to help infrastructure and also improve health. Trees can mitigate the heat island effect, reduce stormwater runoff, improve air quality, and even boost mental and physical health. Now, to earn recognition, La Crescent had to maintain a tree board department, have a community tree ordinance, and spend at least $2 per capita on urban forestry. They also have to hold an Arbor Day celebration.
It's an easy commitment for a community, and more communities should do it. We really enjoy our boulevard trees. The trees are good for our environment. They help us with good fresh air, and they help with natural shading. So it's important for communities to really support the forestry in their area.
And La Crescent will be out planting those new trees on Arbor Day for their Stony Point Forest redevelopment project. Those trees will be planted to help replace those that were cut down to eliminate the invasive species and some overgrown trees. Ashley Furniture named one of Fortune America's most innovative companies for 2025. That award list just released today. Companies were selected based on product, process innovation, and innovation culture. 300 companies in total were given that award. Topping the list was Alphabet, which owns Google. Also Microsoft and Apple, rounding out the top three. Well, looking ahead to the weekend, if you don't already have plans for Friday night, you might want to consider a movie event that seeks to inspire by bringing a popular film festival to the Rivoli. It's in honor of Women's History Month. La Crosse Adventure Films is hosting a screening as part of the 10th annual World Tour of the No Man's Land Film Festival. It's based in Denver, Colorado. Now, we had a chance to speak with the executive director, who says it grew as grassroots effort to get more female and gender non-conforming creators exposure in the realm of adventure films. And it continues to work to inspire young people from all backgrounds to get outside and share their stories.
Everybody can be an advocate, doesn't matter what age, experience, background you're coming from. So getting them exposed, at younger ages, and then also just like getting them to experience and feel inspired to live their lives kind of according to their own standards and rules. And then in turn inspiring others, because we're big believers of just like passion begets passion.
And those doors open at 6. Doors open at 5, that is. Film begins at 6, and it's free to attend. Well, still ahead, state and local public health officials bracing for more cuts as the CDC pulls back millions and billions worth of grants. Plus, health officials in D.C. confirm another case of the measles. Stay with us.
Hello to our friends in Madison, La Crosse, Eau Claire, and Wausau. This is a live look across the Badger State. It's been a milder day here in Wisconsin, but rain and even snow is in that extended forecast. We're going to track it all out coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks for being with us this evening. I'm Brandon Taylor. Amber is off tonight. It's been 1 year since the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. A container ship crashed into one of the two piers. 6 people were killed and 2 others were hurt. ABC's Rena Roy has you covered on the memorial for the victims as a report from the National Transportation Safety Board is released.
We remember the cold morning in March that changed our state forever.
An emotional memorial today for the victims of the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse who died exactly 1 year ago when the Dali cargo ship slammed into the bridge, sending it crashing down in the overnight hours.
We remember the heartbreak that we felt to learn that 6 remarkable Marylanders, that they were now unaccounted for.
On Tuesday, families of the victims visiting the site, throwing wreaths into the water, praying and holding a moment of silence for the 6 men who were killed while working on the bridge.
But the 6 victims of the Key Bridge collapse, they should be here right now.
Attorneys for the families releasing a statement saying while nothing can bring the men who died that night back to their families, we will do everything in our power to hold the Dali's owners and operators accountable for their role in this disaster.
The reason I can no longer see the Key Bridge when I look up over that skyline of Baltimore is because of reckless operators in the Dali.
The owners of the Dali saying at this time it remains inappropriate for us to comment because the matter is still under investigation. The crash affected the port of Baltimore for weeks with debris blocking entry for other ships. The operators of the Dali agreeing to pay nearly $102 million to cover the costs of the federal response. And now, in a report released last week, the National Transportation Safety Board recommending the owners of nearly 70 bridges across the U.S. conduct vulnerability assessments of the risk of collapse from a vessel collision. The NTSB says that kind of assessment could have prevented this deadly accident. Their final report will be released in the fall. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
State and local public health officials are bracing for more funding cuts as the CDC pulls back $11 billion worth of grants. The funds were allocated during the COVID pandemic. The Health and Human Services Department released a statement today saying that since the pandemic is over, it will no longer be wasting taxpayer money. Well, health officials in Washington, D.C. are confirming a new case of measles. They say the infected person traveled by train from New York to D.C. Anyone who was on the train at the Amtrak station or at the healthcare clinic where the patient went could be infected. Measles is highly contagious and can be spread through coughing, sneezing, or touching contaminated surfaces.
You're able not to get vaccinated against a highly contagious disease like measles because so many other people around you provide this herd or community immunity. And that's why I wanted to highlight in my op-ed that vaccination is a community responsibility.
Anyone who has been vaccinated is considered completely protected. Well, we are looking at rain chances coming up in the forecast. Let's see what's happening a little closer to home.
Now, your 19 Storm Track weather forecast.
Let's take a look at what we're tracking. I'm Storm Track meteorologist Jackson Garlock. Chance of rain outside tonight, primarily for those in the southwestern corner of Wisconsin, southeastern Minnesota, and the northeastern corner of Iowa. That will eventually be passing through the area. Not a guarantee of showers, but a decent chance. Moving forward, we have some very comfortable temperatures out here the next couple of days. 60s for tomorrow. 70s possible as we track into our Friday, and then wet weekend weather on the way. Could see multiple showers move through the area on Saturday, maybe a few early Sunday. You can see here's our temperatures across the state of Wisconsin today. A lot of 40s across central Wisconsin. For us, sitting in the 50s across western Wisconsin was fairly comfortable. And as you mentioned, we're going to get much, much warmer here for at least the next couple of days. Here's our temperatures in Eau Claire, the Eau Claire area. 60 degrees expected outside on Thursday, 70 expected for the daytime high on Friday. So really warming up, feeling a little bit more like spring. After that, we drop in temperature quite significantly through the weekend and into next week back into the 40s. That's going to be with that rain system. In the La Crosse area, a few degrees warmer. You can see we're up to about 62 on Thursday and into the 70s on Friday once again. Still remaining a bit milder on Saturday as we drop into the 60s. Now, our future track clouds and radar does show a little bit of light rain moving into the southwestern corner of the area tonight. That's going to arrive as early as 9 or 10 o'clock tonight for those south western counties. That slowly shifts off to the east, though, as we track into the early morning hours of Thursday. So you can see more towards 2 or 3 in the morning. That could be moving into the La Crosse area. South of Eau Claire, starting to see some showers here towards early Thursday. Scattered rainfall breaking into the area for about 4 or 5 in the morning. By most of our mornings, though, this rain should start to clear. You can see by about 8 or 9 a.m., we're looking at the rain passing away and, well, some sunshine starting to form into the area. So should be bright for most of our Thursday. You can see partly cloudy skies outside for the rest of today. So you might wake up to some wet pavement, but by the afternoon, it should be pleasant once again. Heading into our Friday, you'll see the cloud cover moves in here quickly. Small chance of an isolated sprinkle. Most of our rainfall on Friday will be towards the tail end of the day. You can see that shaping up here towards Friday night. Extended future track shows a higher chance, or shows a little bit more rain on the map here. But take a look at Saturday. That's when we're really tracking the showers moving into the area. So it could be a bit of a messy weekend, maybe up to an inch of rainfall in spots. Bus stop forecast for tomorrow. We're looking at early morning conditions of 35 to 42. Some morning rain possible. By the afternoon, we'll be sitting anywhere from 58 to 64. Pretty comfortable air. Here's our extended forecast moving forward next couple of days. As you can see, warmer than average. 60 out there on Thursday for the Eau Claire area, 70 for our Friday. In La Crosse, a few degrees warmer, all the way up to a high near 78 degrees for our Friday afternoon in La Crosse. Moving forward, temperatures drop as we move into the weekend, and we're looking at a decent chance of showers both Saturday and early Sunday.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Scott Emmerich. A sure sign of spring is the return of baseball.
We've got you covered. And now, sports.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott Emmerich. A sure sign of spring is the return of baseball, and we have a bunch of openers for you tomorrow. UWL will hold its home opener when they host Stout in a doubleheader. The Eagles went 9-2 on a pair of spring trips this month. As usual, they have high expectations. UWL is ranked 13th in the nation. They've made it to the Super Regionals the last 2 seasons, and they have 16 seniors back, most of whom have played in several high leverage games over the last 3 seasons.
There's definitely going to be bumps in the road. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, but I think the experience that we do have is going to make a big difference. It has already when mistakes come about. It's easier to move forward, and the game of baseball is really tough on somebody individually, especially. And when those mistakes happen, the players have been there before, or they're there to pick each other up.
Well, we've been through a lot as a team together. We've all hung out so many times together outside of baseball and obviously in practice. So our team chemistry is where we want it to be, and yeah, we're very excited for the season.
The Eagles and Stout will play 2 tomorrow at Copeland Park. Game 1 is set for 1 o'clock.